We wonder what the people in the private jet think about this 60-year-old Warbird taxiing in behind them. Although your ears are still filled with the roar of the 4 giant Cyclone engines, after takeoff it seems almost peaceful. Looking out through the Radio Man's gun port, it's easy to find yourself slipping back in time and imagining what sights you might have seen 60-some-odd years ago. Flying and maintaining a B17 is not cheap, so the Collins Foundation must pass on the in-flight cost of about $3,500 an hour to flight participants. So why would somebody pay $400 a seat for a 20 to 30-minute flight in a 60-year-old airplane?
Well, after all the years of watching film from World War II, listening to my relatives that were there, there's nothing like it, because we're not going to have this kind of thing left for long. You're going to get to see it now or never.
It is a sobering experience to be gazing out the top turret, knowing that over 60 years ago, thousands of airmen were gazing out a turret just like this one, but they weren't exactly enjoying the view. They were waiting for fighters to come screaming in at them. And down below in the ball turret, nothing much to worry about today except maybe a little sunshine reflecting off the lake. Staring over the gun ports, you find yourself transported back in time, wondering what it must have been like, waiting for death to come rushing at you. But no bogeys today. Nothing but beautiful skies. It seems all too soon it's time to head back to the airport. Our trip through time and our flying time machine coming to an end.
It's really an amazing experience to my entire life, seeing it on TV and reading about it, and then finally actually flying in one. It's great.
I've wanted to do this ever since I was a little kid. Been a big World War II aviation buff. I knew this was coming to town, and I talked to my wife, and she said, well, you need to just do that. You need to just go. And just a thrill meeting some of the veterans that flew in these 60 years ago, and they were just a different breed of person, so I'm just honored to be in the same plane they were.
Paul was probably around 21 or 22. He had quite a number of hours in the air. The rest of them around 20, 19. I think the average age would probably work out around 20 or 21. They were all very young. People don't realize how young. We didn't either.
I was 24 years old. I was the old man of the crew. I was 4 years older than any man on the crew. 2 of our men were 19 years old.
They're trained in a fairly short time period to fly an aircraft that weighs 65,000 pounds and has 5,000 horsepower. They're going to fly it in the skies over Europe where it's 50 degrees below zero in tight formation for 8 or 10 hours. Oh, and then people start shooting at them, and there's flak all around. It was a very traumatic experience and a traumatic time. But most of them will tell you it was one of the greatest things that ever happened to them, because they feel very proud of the fact that they came together as a team and got the job done and helped save the world.
Living through 35 missions with some experience, being shot at all those times, and nothing is, I think General Patton once said, nothing's so exciting as having somebody aim a gun and shoot at you and miss.
And my experience, I can just thank the Lord that I'm here in one piece. And the reason is a plane like this. And looking at this old crate, it brings back memories.
That's one reason why we're all out here, is to give something back to all those guys that helped save the world and to honor the ones that never made it home.
The other day we had the original ball turret gunner and the original tail gunner of the Outhouse Mouse, which was one of the sister ships of this airplane in the 91st Bomb Group at Bassingbourn, England. And they actually flew with us. We took out some of the things in the back of the tail so they could get back there. And it was quite an experience. All of us were in tears after the flight, and it was really emotional. They brought their family down with them and had a real opportunity to experience what they had went through. And just yesterday, we had one of the flight engineers, and he came out with his entire family. They rented the entire ship for the period of time, and they went for a ride, and that was quite an emotional experience.
We had some unfortunate circumstances come our way, and my grandmother passed away, and you know, my granddad was having a real tough time, but then when we decided that the whole family would fly on the B17, it was just like that little lift that he needed. So that showed us how important that airplane had been to him and what the airplane meant.
Yeah, this is the turret I flew in right here. That was, of course, when we were actually over the continent now. Normally I stood right here. They evidently had shot a fuel line, and we started leaking gas through the wing, and it was burning and burning into the bomb bay, so we had to get out. Well, we parachuted out, and two of us landed right together. So we went and lay down and watched the path, and a German walked up behind us and said, "Hands up." Said, "For you, the war's over." He had a gun in each hand, pistol. And he went to school in Columbia University. Anyway, that was the capture.
So what was Jim Free's impression of the 909?
Somebody has spent a lot of time and care there, and I am glad they have. I hope they keep it going right on and on. Collins' outfit will keep them going. I want you to put all those great-grandchildren on there and take them to ride.
Well, speaking of rides, it's time to take a ride.
Parker, for some reason you're standing there looking out the window, don't be grabbing the cables, because in effect you'll be guiding the aircraft. Okay? Beating you. Okay, and he'll take care of you. Good luck. Go ahead. All right, let's get it. Golly.
I wanted to fly another time, and I was glad to get that chance. I had been wanting to do that for years and years. Told somebody I wanted to fly one more time and land on wheels.
He's standing up looking out the front just like he did in the war.
They told me they learned who I was on this trip, and they told me I could get in my position, and I did. I guess every landing and takeoff we made, I stood right there and called airspeed. And of course I could watch the instruments. Now I don't imagine anybody knew it would let you do that now, stand there in case you ran into something, you know, but that's just the way we operated. I had really forgotten just how noisy they are. Have you ever flown in one? They're noisy, aren't they? And I still don't know exactly what they think about it, because I'd boosted it up so big, you know, and I know we were small and compared to today's planes, and we were so slow, but we didn't know that at the time. We were the heaviest. So I still would like to know exactly how they did feel about that B-17.
Getting to experience that with the whole family, with all of my cousins and my sister and my parents and my aunts and uncles and things like that, just made it, you know, that much better. The plane itself was fascinating enough, and then, you know, to get to experience that with everyone else was just icing on the cake.
I think that's why we all do it. There's a lot of love in these airplanes, and there's a lot of desire for people that still want to come out and see them and participate, and we sure do enjoy it. Like I say, we're all volunteers. We all do this in our own time, and we just thoroughly enjoy being out here.
Well, a big crowd has turned out to bid farewell to the 909 and the Collings Foundation volunteers as they head off on another leg of their tour. These people have come out to see something you don't see every day. 60-year-old combat aircraft, engines roaring, racing down the runway, leaping into the sky. A Warbird, still flying high.